They say numbers don't lie, and in the NFL, the number of Lombardi trophies a team has in its glass case really matters. But with winners, there must come losers, and unfortunately, losers can't hide from those numbers either.
I hate the Browns.
And though being the worst at something is often a subjective opinion, it's time to take a look at which franchise, mathematically, is the most inept franchise in the history of the league. I can see several fan bases getting ready to fire up that comment button. Before I get into this, I want to thank SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. SeatGeek is an amazing app that aggregates ticket prices from all over the web, gives each deal a color-coded and numerical rating to tell you if you're getting a good deal, lets you see the view from your seats before you even buy, and it's done safely and securely right on your phone. And it's very important to keep your phone charged. Like that time I bought tickets and let my phone die, and I had to go buy a charger and stand in a CVS until the phone came back to life while my friends drank for 2 innings without me. Yes, that happened. Charge your phone, people. Don't forget to download the SeatGeek app from the link below and enter in the code FPG in the Me tab and receive $20 back on your first order. If you notice, the video title says, "In the history of the NFL," but we will take a look at the Super Bowl era before we deliver the sad verdict of statistical suckitude to our quote-unquote winner of this exercise. We are, however, going to put some weight on the Super Bowl era as it is the current operating framework of the league, so Eagles fans, sit down a moment. Let's talk Super Bowl trophy distribution. There have been 51 Super Bowls with 13 teams not having a single win and 19 with. 4 teams have never even been to a Super Bowl. However, before you start focusing on those 4 teams, which are the Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Houston Texans, let's start looking at our data set to disqualify some candidates. Jacksonville and Houston are exempt because Jacksonville has only had 21 opportunities to win a Super Bowl and Houston only 14, as they came into the league in 1995 and 2002 respectively as expansion teams. Cleveland gets a minor pass because they rejoined the league in 1999, but everyone views them as one franchise, which will be important later. And if they had won a Super Bowl before the old team had moved to Baltimore, that would count for this exercise. And even though they suck through a straw every season, they still aren't the mathematically worst team for the Super Bowl era. I'll explain. That honor is given to the Detroit Lions, who have played in every season uninterrupted since the Super Bowl started and has yet to even get close, as their only NFC Championship game appearance came in 1991, and they got crushed like the Terminator in a hydraulic press by the Redskins 41-10. And of course, they have suffered through an 0-16 season in 2008, and their recent play should be a valid reason for fans to claim short-term disability for the mental anguish they have caused. However, mathematically, the Lions are not the worst franchise in the history of the NFL. As I said, we're looking at the entire history of the league, not the last 51 years. And before you Detroit fans try to get out of this distinction based on pre-Super Bowl championships being the deciding factor, your team has the 3rd worst winning percentage in the league since the merger at .405. Only the Buccaneers and Texans are worse in the regular season, and you've only won 1 playoff game since 1996. That's the worst in the league. And before you start pointing fingers at the Browns, who also suck more than a bilge pump in a boat taking on water, they actually have a better regular season win-loss percentage than the Lions at .435 and have won 4 times the playoff games in the same amount of time. You just got a Mr. Super Hot Fire level burn put on you, Detroit.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
But as things would have it, Detroit is not the worst franchise in the history of the NFL. You have to go back to the start, when the league was formed in 1920, officially named the NFL in 1922. However, I'm going to work my way backwards to the origin of the NFL using the merger of the AFL and NFL in 1966 as the starting blocks. You have a bunch of teams that have been around since then, and some of them haven't won a Super Bowl since the merger, but they have won NFL championships, the trophy the league handed out before the Super Bowl was invented and common Americans were forced to figure out how Roman numerals work. These are the teams that when you get in an argument about them not winning a Super Bowl, the fan base always counters with, yeah, well, we won an NFL championship in 1960, F you. But for this exercise, I'll let that count for something, Eagles fans. So I named the Eagles as one of those teams, cross them off the suck list. The Lions, they have won 4 NFL championships, cross them off the list. There you go. Looks like that cloud has a silver dome lining after all. Cleveland, oh my God, Cleveland, I've gone so easy on you for this video. You really should thank me. Cleveland has 4 NFL championships. And now we're getting down to our mathematical answer as we look at the teams that have roots that go all the way back to the beginning. You have the Green Bay Packers, definitely don't suck. The New York Giants, nope, not on the list. The Bears, though they have sucked lately, they do have a Super Bowl win. Who are we missing here? What team has had the most opportunities to win a championship and a Super Bowl, has only been to one said Super Bowl, which they lost, has the second worst regular season winning percentage of all time, has a losing playoff record, and has the fewest number of NFL championships of any pre-merger NFL team? Can I get a drum roll and then a fail horn? It's the Arizona Cardinals, who started out as the Chicago Cardinals and then moved to St. Louis and then of course moved out west. And sorry, I know this hurts, but mathematically the Cardinals are the franchise in NFL history. They have been in continuous existence since 1920 and have played in over 96 NFL seasons. And as I stated earlier, have only been to 1 Super Bowl, which they did almost win, but their total win-loss record of 542, 732, and 40 is ranked 31st out of 32 teams. And yeah, they only won 2 NFL championships before the merger. So if you take that as a metric, that means their trophies versus seasons is 2%. No non-expansion team has a worse ratio, and you know what that gets. A damn, son. So Cleveland, Detroit, Philadelphia, Houston, Jacksonville, Atlanta. Atlanta. You can all thank the Cardinals for being the mathematically worst franchise in NFL history. And of course, Cardinal fans will come back at me, and that's fine. You have to defend your turf, but do me a favor and direct your hate towards the Eagles, or I'll bring this up.
Roethlisberger, pass time, throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown.
Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you really like me, hit that notification squad button so you can get alerted right when I upload. And don't forget to download the SeatGeek app and enter in the code FPG in the Me tab and get $20 back on your first order. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you mathematically made it to the end of this video.